Hi everyone, I'm Giovanna Alexandra and thanks for tuning into The Glow Show. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with someone who has the opportunity of a lifetime to model with major brands such as Chanel, Vogue, and Adidas. She has now turned her focus towards podcasting with the goal of spreading health and wellness advice relating to positive body image and staying healthy within the modeling industry. Let's welcome the creator of Spiked Kombucha Podcast and international model, Allison Kimball. How are you?
Hi, I'm so great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So I know the modeling industry can be pretty cutthroat, as we know, when it comes to idealizing a certain body type and portraying that image to the public. Can you tell me about some of your experiences surrounding this issue?
I would say I really always try to encapsulate being true to yourself. And I feel like sometimes that phrase can be a little bit overused and almost misunderstood. But once I've really cracked the code for myself and lived in a way that's genuine, true, and free of fear of what other people are going to, look at me as, see me as, the way that the other people perceive me, once I kind of push that aside and really only prioritize what I think of myself and how I choose to portray myself to the world, and if I love that person that I'm putting out and showing, then other people will too. And I think that has just attracted such a natural, real, wholesome audience, because I'm just being myself, putting myself out there, and I'm attracting all these other people that are doing the same thing. So that's kind of a healthy way I have got into the industry, I'd say.
So you always be true to yourself. So I know you've had incredible success modeling with some of the biggest brands in the industry. What made you decide to explore podcasting, and why the name Spiked Kombucha?
So I love talking, and that sounds so silly, but I really just love projecting stories and advice and helping people. And I'm definitely the friend that's kind of the go-to friend for advice. I just really love being there for people, being there for my friends and my family. And I wanted an outlet to be able to do that and really expand that, because that's just something I'm so truly just like naturally passionate about as is. And I just wanted to pursue that further and kind of make something more out of it, because all my friends and family knew that I was like that, and I was like, you know what, I just want to like grow and really nourish this talent and this hobby that I have. And the name Spiked Kombucha, it's kind of a little funny story. It was like the very beginning of quarantine, and I was brainstorming with my boyfriend, and we just liked that name for our TikTok account, actually. And we were just like having fun, posting all those little fun challenges. And then I was growing my podcast, and I was like going through a couple of names, and then it hit me. I was like, Spiked Kombucha, like that is everything I want my brand to just be encapsulated into. And I love kombucha. I feel like the title is just pretty like earthy, crunchy, like granola girl, like nature. And I was like, I want people to know me as that. Like they see me so often, like more often than not, as this like glam, high fashion model, like doing all this like runway stuff, which I love. But I was like, you know what? It's time to show the other side of me, like where I grew up, who I really am on the inside. So that's like my little Hannah Montana life.
I love that. And I think people can relate to it because I love kombucha. So it's like, I was like, what an interesting name. But I know that your podcast also touches upon meditation and happiness. What is the biggest tips that you can give towards enhancing your happiness and through meditation?
Ooh, meditation is so important to me now. I feel like I've honestly acquired a lot of other aspects of my life that give me the same satisfaction as meditation. And once I've placed myself in a healthy mindset where I am able to stay open-minded, I'm able to nourish my body in the ways that it naturally needs in the moment. Like, for example, if I'm hungry, I'm going to eat foods that I'm craving. I'm not going to limit myself. Same with sleep. If I'm tired and I don't have anything to do in the morning, I'm going to allow myself an extra hour of sleep. And I'm really just going to allow myself to have all of these small luxuries, because at the end of the day, like that's really what nourishes our bodies and gives us what we truly need in the moment. And meditation is all about staying present. And I think going from present moment to present moment, day by day, and all the small things, like even if you feel like you need a little extra vitamin D, like take yourself for a walk. It's really about nourishing your body from the inside out and being there for yourself, because nobody knows you more than yourself.
Exactly. I agree with you. What advice would you give to an upcoming model who's committed to following in your footsteps as far as staying fit, healthy, and happy?
I love that question so much. So first of all, I would say this is kind of a given, but to never tear anybody else down that you might have jealousy or envy or anything else, because supporting somebody else's success is never going to take away from yours. So it's really just a healthy environment to support each and every person around you, whether they're above you or below you. You know, like everyone's on their own journey, so there's really no measurement. And I would say just like it's about staying true to yourself as well, being on your path, working really hard, keeping that same healthy mentality, and really just like getting down to the like logistical like research of if you want to be a model, it's like, okay, you can establish like a step-by-step goal and pathway that you want to establish, because that's what I kind of did. And I started that. I started when I was 12, but then when I was 14, I was taking it really seriously and establishing like a strong game plan. I was like, okay, I want to achieve this, and setting all these like timelines and just like really making it a reality and bringing it into my life and taking it into my own hands.
So it's all about commitment. So I know you mentioned that you're gearing up to release your first book to accompany your podcast. How exciting. How would you summarize your book in 3 words? And what do you want the readers to get from your book?
3 words. Okay, let's take my little brain dictionary out. I would say fulfilling, real, and imbalanced, actually. And I would say imbalanced in a positive way, because the way the book is written is in a very unique way. It's not like other books you'd read. It's not like a book, you pick up at Barnes & Noble. It is structured in very small snippets. It kind of goes up and down, and it kind of like goes along with your natural thought pattern, because that's the way I wrote it. That's the way I processed it. That's like my mindset when I'm creating this book. That's how I think. And I think that it will really pertain to a lot of other readers too, because I know a lot of people, whether you like reading or not, a lot of people will kind of have a tough time sticking to a certain plot and really processing it, or sometimes they kind of will like zone out. But this just like keeps you engaged the whole time, and it just keeps you aware and mindful and really truly in the present moment. And that was my main goal, honestly, was to keep you in the present moment, aware, and just avoid all the anxieties of the past and the future.
I'm so excited to get a copy of your book when it is released. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Can you please tell our viewers where they can keep up with you on social media?
Absolutely. So my Instagram is at Allison Kimball, and Kimball has 3 L's at the end. And then my podcast is now available on several platforms, which is amazing. My main platform is on Spotify, so it is just Spike Kombucha Podcast. And and you can just find the rest of my links to like my Instagram and stuff like that. I have a little website where I set up a little bit more like in-depth information about my podcast. If you want to check that out, is just thespikekombucha.com, and those are all my links.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining another episode of The Glow Show. Until next time, one love.